Hello viewers, my name is Adam.
No, I'm Aaron.
And this is Seeking Media Productions. And our last movie review for 2018. This franchise is such an up and down scenario, isn't it?
It's a roller coaster. I mean, this guy is ups and some pretty downs, harsh low downs. Probably a lot more lower end points than they are high points. But every once in a while, when they hit one,
they need the help.
Yeah.
Support and especially they need the support especially when they do something that's well.
Yeah, but in general, we're talking mostly about the DCEU, the cinematic universe that supposedly Warner Brothers is trying to put together. I mean, they had so many chances to actually get this thing right. And there's no reason why this isn't the global phenomenon. It could be. We're talking about legends and heroes that everybody in the world over knows.
Way before Marvel even got their teeth stuck into way in late 2010s, like people know these heroes.
Mm-hmm. You're hard pressed to find a household that's not going to know who Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Aquaman, or any of the heroes at the DC. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of obscure ones that don't get their due justice. But even nowadays, we're starting to see on the television and movies in general, them now.
It's been a long time coming, let's just say that.
Yeah, let's put it that way. But of course, we're here to talk about one of the newer entries.
Aquaman. While we're going to discuss our reasonings for our verdict, this is a very interesting situation for this film because we're about to book in this movie review for this year while comparing it to our first review that we did this year, which is Black Panther. Something I feel as though they're telling the same story.
Yeah, it really much is just a tale of kings, really. It's a tale of kings.
Tale of kings.
And someone striving to become better than who they once were.
More than what they once were.
Exactly.
And in a lot of ways, it's the opposite of that film story, in which whatever positives that we liked from Black Panther is some of the negatives is from here, while also some of the negatives from Black Panther is some of the positives for this film. So, a lot of respect, these films should be equally good, well received, and well deserved, whatever.
But we're starting to see that's not necessarily the case. Now, don't get me wrong. DC right out the gate had some pretty controversial decisions that went into the overwhelming hot mess that is inevitably became. But there are some good points to this, and it is doing, it is trying.
Yes. And let's get on with this review by addressing the story. As we said before, this is basically the same type of story that Black Panther is telling. In fact, there are no surprises for this film. If you're going it's
beat by beat.
It's beat by beat. It's very predictable. I'm going to say that right there. But at least because we're preparing it is telling a good story, but rather bad.
It does it well. It tells the story well, but it definitely leaves room for improvement.
A lot of the problems what I have with the story is the editing. As long as the movie is,
it did not feel it.
It is 2.5 hours long, but it's just go by very fast.
It's literally you're in one part of the scene, then it rushes to the next part, and it goes on and on like that until at the end of the day you're left hanging like, well, I mean, it's not this satisfying ending for this film.
In fact, it actually does the opposite.
This film actually finishes on a high note.
Yeah,
but it's got there quickly.
Yeah. A lot of the editing problems because it has a very choppy beginning. A lot of the more emotional moments I feel as though should have been
it dragged out a little longer than it could than it was presented. I mean, there are some. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of lingering on a scene well past its due, but there is something to be said when you're giving your audience the time to adjust and digest what you're trying to tell them, what you're trying to show them.
And I don't feel as though the film allowed those moments to shine as well as it could have.
No, it didn't.
Something that Wonder Woman did nicely.
Mm-hmm.
It was well balanced.
Yes.
But it got to a point where like halfway mark is when the film, I would say,
it starts to shine.
Yes, it shines. It fully understands what type of film it wants to say.
Because yeah, that was the biggest part. It's like I was kind of confused on where this film was going to really take itself on an emotional level.
Yeah.
But it does find itself quickly when you hit that halfway point. It takes a minute to understand, to try and get those gears running, but once it goes, it's gone.
Yeah.
No point in saying it.
Something that I feel as though definitely could have worked on with this film are a lot of characters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jason Momoa is an actor who I feel as though was my main concern going into this film.
Definitely, I'm pretty vocal when it comes to my point of view on Jason Mamoa as an actor. I personally don't feel as though he's like an actor that
is of acting qualification.
I don't want to downplay him in that way. I mean, I just don't feel as though he's basically
diverse.
Diverse. That's the word. He's not very diverse in his acting talents. But in this role, he was able to make this his version.
This is Jason Momoa's Aquaman.
Yes. And there's a difference. Don't get me wrong. There are times when actors try and do that themselves, and there are plenty of individuals that do that. I mean, you have freaking Tom Cruise. Yeah. I feel as though that's unfortunate. The case people may not agree with me, but I definitely feel this is the case. Denzel Washington definitely is another actor where they're not necessarily playing that character. They're playing themselves trying to be that character.
And that's the same for the lead actress, Amber Heard, who plays Mira in this.
Exactly. Well, here's my thing on her. I haven't seen too much of her work, Amber Heard, so I guess that's probably why I didn't necessarily feel as though she did do anything wrong with it. It definitely could have been worse.
Yeah, let's just say that when they think about building up marketing Aquaman, you realize they weren't really marketing her.
Yeah, that's true. They really should. And I feel as though for what they've shown in this movie, they definitely showed that she is if anything, they definitely showed the potential of this being kind of like what they were trying to do, what Marvel was trying to do with Ant-Man and the Wasp as a duo group.
Yeah.
As duo heroes.
Yeah. It'll be interesting what they title the next film.
That would be interesting.
But a lot of shortcomings do come into play when the antagonist department.
Mm-hmm. Black Manta. Don't get me wrong. Black Manta wasn't bad. He wasn't. I hesitate to say that this was a bad point in the movie, but definitely could have been done better. With him, his motivations in this film, his character development as a character in it was pretty low.
But I do feel there is potential for his character.
Yeah, there's definitely. But this is something. This movie did something for its villains that I've not seen in a comic book movie done, where they give them the spotlight on certain scenes.
And that's mainly the action sequences.
Yeah, action sequences, they definitely do their job as far as giving the villain a platform to express what they are able to do. Not necessarily on a personal level as far as who they are as a person, but definitely when it comes to true action, which is something that the DC, no matter the movie, they've all been able to showcase that at some point. That's something that these movies are able to do, is showcase how powerful or how dynamic these characters can truly be.
And that's, but it does show a lot more of that front with the main villain of this film, which is
Ocean Master.
Patrick Wilson. Even though he stumbles with the same flatline scripted character as Black Manta does, he does have more screen time for him to be showcased as the main villain.
If anything, I feel as though this is probably more credit on Patrick Wilson more so than I will, and probably James Wan, or I might give James Wan this one too, or whoever did the writing for him. I would have to say this. With the character of Ocean Master was never a character I felt I necessarily cared for.
Yeah.
But because of how they was presented in this film, I'm more open to that character. But being that, as it said, there is definitely, I wish they had went one route with this character, which would have highlighted it. And there's a theme, and I don't know if this is spoiler or not. I don't think it is.
Let's just say that, like Black Panther, again, Black Panther had a message in the film, and that message helped motivate the villain in that film.
Exactly. I feel so in this film for Aquaman, Ocean Master's message, or a message which he could have necessarily emphasized, it would have definitely highlighted his character even more so, wasn't necessarily fully there. I mean, they hinted at it a little bit, and they definitely tried to allude to it as being a form of motivation for this character, but it never really goes anywhere.
And everybody on this cast, they do a good job with their...
Yeah, no one was truly... other than Black Manta, who could have done better, no one was really... and Ocean Master, but more Black Manta in general. Yeah. Everybody pretty much serves their part. They was in this film, they served a purpose, and that was it.
But what really shined, like, what is basically a drawing point for this film is, of course, the production.
Oh, yeah.
Like the beginning of this film, it was choppy.
It was a lot choppy. There's points where there are certain costume design choices which didn't necessarily make sense and could have been done better. Yeah. But then, and there are also certain points with CGI. I mean, I understand it's pretty difficult trying to reimagine. It was
unavoidable for this.
Yeah, it's going to be unavoidable, because it is a difficult situation. How to transverse the idea of a living, breathing, and thriving metropolis under the water and people who live under the water, and bring that to life. Yeah. And along with sea creatures and all that working together, and that's difficult. So I do not at all feel that these whoever was doing the CGI and the work on this, the editing on that part, I hats off to them. Yeah. That's all I gotta say. Hats off to them.
Let's just say when they actually fully go into Atlantis,
it goes beautifully.
Like I'm mad that at the time of this video that the Oscar nominations shortlist for visual effects
did not add Aquaman to this list,
because this is some of the best crafted rendered visual effects I've seen. That appears, like, I don't even get it, like, after the first third of the film. That's when it really takes off visually.
There are segments and scenes in this film which I would love to have posted on my wall.
Oh my God!
I mean, there are some truly beautiful cinematic shots here.
Yes, and it also, though, the fight choreography
it's
the best highlight in the film.
Yeah, it is. The fight choreography, I loved it. It was so fluid, but at the same time realistic towards the characters themselves. It was brutal. I actually loved it.
How the camera work followed the word.
Yes, and they could have been so worse.
Even though the great cinematography and visual effects aside, another part of the reason why this film is not as great as it could be, at least to me, is on the audio front. There are some questionable musical choices.
I did not like actually, it's not even that I couldn't even like it. I didn't really hear it. That's something I don't remember. I don't remember the real soundtrack, the score or the soundtrack for this. The soundtrack I do actually. There was like two produced ones.
Yeah, there's two sound.
Which I don't feel as though made any sense to be in this film at all.
Very misplaced.
But the soundtrack in general was like, I don't know what they were thinking, and it was like Man of Steel had a nice one. Wonder Woman loved it. Batman v Superman, even though I don't really like the movie, I like Batman's score, and of course they brought back Man of Steel, and that's the first time I heard Wonder Woman's thing. I'm like, those were really, really awesome. Yeah. So I was like, what are you going to do for Aquaman? I was waiting for that. Yeah. Which at the end of the day, I kind of saw this coming, because usually they show you and they release the score for the movie well in advance before the movie comes out. I was like, you don't hear it yet. There's probably a problem, and it turned out being a problem. I was like, no, it's not really there, and it's something that they could have definitely fixed. I don't understand how they couldn't. I feel as though with Aquaman, a strong organ would have been amazing for
And
this.
good percussion, like something similar to the television series Black Sails.
Yes, anything having that cool swashbuckling, pirate organ vibe, that would have really helped out for this. And definitely because Jason Momoa's Pacific Island Villagers, I could have worked out with some freaking cool tribal chants and drums, and that would have been nice.
It's missed opportunity.
Exactly, it is a missed opportunity, but that doesn't necessarily take too much away from the film itself.
So, with everything said, I would say that Aquaman to me is a solidly, entertainingly good film.
Yeah.
There are obvious some issues with this film.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I feel as though deservedly so needs to be noticed
And addressed.
But, yes. Same thing for some other movies of this kind. But when something is done well,
highlight it. Because like I said, this film, even though with its shortcomings, it does do certain things right and does some other things astonishingly better than others.
Yes, I find myself watching this movie more than once.
Yeah, I could easily watch this movie again and probably enjoy it just as much as I watched it the first time.
Yeah. So there we have it. This is our review for Aquaman. See you next year for other great movie reviews.
Can't wait.
My name is Adam.
And I'm Aaron. Please, guys, if you want more content like this, hit that little description bell at the bottom. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter,
and Instagram.
Of course.
Like, share, subscribe, and have a nice day.
See ya.